All right, welcome to part 3 of Project Control mini-series, and now I'm going to talk about technical review. So like I mentioned before, there are 3 different types of meeting: information meetings, problem-solving meetings, and decision meetings. Technical review are decision meetings. They're similar in a way to management reviews, but obviously, like the name indicates, it's much more focused on the technical aspect of the project. Once again, I remind you, please do not mix meeting types on the same day with the same people. This would just lead to confusion. And I know I'm repeating myself many times on this, but this is something that happens so often, and I feel like it really undermines the performance of the project. So, technical reviews. They are a meeting between the project core team and a group of experts, normally independent experts. What do we mean in independent? Does that mean that they don't work for the same company that we work with? Well, not necessarily. The independent experts might be from the same company where you work, but they're not working on the project. And for me, this is very important because it shows some level of unbiased. Obviously, the better thing is when you do it with outside experts. Okay, but sometimes that is not possible due to confidentiality of the project itself. Now, the purpose of this meeting is twofold. First one is an in-depth review of technical approach, the technical risk, and technical documentation regarding your project. Now, you're not going to go through all of it for the whole project, but rather you might break it down into specific phases or into specific sections. So the objective here is to make sure that the technical approach is meeting what the project requires, and the external team is going to validate or not validate that. So these reviews happen at major technical milestones of the project. So when something major has been created, for example, when the concept has been selected for the new product, when a qualification test is approaching and you want to make sure that it is indeed meeting those qualifications, when you have a design or a code freeze, that means that you are kind of like stuck. And sometimes having these technical reviews can give you good points to think about how to get, well, allow me the word, unstuck. And finally, when your product is almost production ready and you want to make sure there are no major problems before making the big investment. So a couple of advices regarding technical review and how to prepare this meeting. Number one, these type of meetings normally are conducted when a technical deliverable or a set of related deliverables are completed. In other words, when you have something that is more on the technical side or more on the technological side, for example, there are requirements. And when a major one has been completed, you would not do it at every single moment that a task related to these activities would be completed, because that would just be counterproductive. Rather, typically we do it at the end of each major phase where we have a deliverable that needs to be done. Once again, this is a formal meeting. There will be agenda, there will be records, there will be action items, and it is important that you keep tab on this because they are there as well to help you on to improve the product for the next meeting. This will be a more in-depth discussion of the technical approach, and therefore you have to defend why did you do things that way or this way. So that means you might have to prepare a lot of documents, or you might have to have a lot of documents with you in case you are asked during the meeting to defend a specific approach to the project. Organizations might have checklists and templates that can be used, especially if it's an organization that does a lot of similar projects, but this is not necessarily always the case. And we enlarge reviews and we break them in larger reviews. We break them, into parts rather than trying to do everything. So if you have a deliverable that is quite complex, you might break it down into smaller meetings. For example, one related to electronic components, one related to software development, and so on, one related to mechanical, and so on. So you might have, if you have a large project or a large deliverables with many technical parts, you break it down into categories and you organize the meetings one by one. A technical review has a couple of parts, like always. So first you start by introducing the team, then you review the charter and the objectives of the project. After that, point 3 is you review what are the technical standards or the technical requirements of the project and what are the ones that you are discussing on this meeting. Then you're going to present your technical artifacts, your documentations, your drawing or specifications, the analysis, your test results, your quality plans. Here I cannot give you a comprehensive list because it will really depend from case to case what are the things that you have to present that defend the technical standards that you are trying to defend. Then you have the open technical issues or risks, so you present the things that are still not solved and the things that have been solved from last meeting. You have the discussion, and finally you review the decisions that were made during the meeting, and finally at the end you create your action items, in other words the thing that you must do and prepare for next meeting regarding that the current analysis that are 4 items still open. So as you can see, technical reviews are not always done, but rather we only do them when we have projects that are a little bit more technical or more complex. We might have a lot of them, we might have none, we might just have one. It really depends on the project, but we have to organize them in a manner that it makes sense to the project and that they don't become counterproductive. Sometimes they're optional, sometimes they're mandatory, but that's how it works. All right. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you on the next video of this mini series.